Hello. You're a good boss, fair, you try and make smart choices and inform and consult with your team. You run a tight ship and a professional business. So why is it that some people in your business feel the need to sabotage your efforts? Today I want to explore that a little bit and maybe give you some tips on dealing with those saboteurs. Welcome. I've had my own small business for nearly 20 years now, and I've been coaching small businesses for the last 4, and I have seen it all. I've seen people who have been very aggressive in their undermining of the business and their employer. I've seen that kind of passive aggressive, not particularly cooperative behaviour, and I've seen raving fans in businesses as well. So today what I wanted to explore is what's realistic, how much of that behaviour can we actually turn around. And I want to give you a few hints and tips on how I handle people who are sabotaging my business. My name is Phil Jackson. I'm a small business coach, and I've dedicated the rest of my career to helping you with the skills you need to master to build a business that you're proud of and enjoy. And nothing's going to undermine that enjoyment more than somebody on your payroll who is deliberately sabotaging your efforts. So let's explore that a little bit. Well, what is the scale that we're dealing with here? Well, I want you to imagine a scale that runs from 1 to 5. Your number ones are the people who are very aggressive, very apparent in their disdain for working for you, and they will do anything to undermine or not participate in what it is that you're trying to achieve. Your number threes are kind of in the middle. They turn up for work, they do their job, they go home again, they don't really make a positive or negative impact in any great way. And your number fives are your raving fans, the people that throw themselves behind everything that you do, and they're a very positive and very buzzy influence in your business. So let's have a little look at how we can handle those different kinds of people. So your 4s and 5s, we don't need to worry about. They're having a great time working for you, they're enjoying their work, enjoying being in your business. But everybody in that scale from 1 to 5 has a bandwidth of 2. So if a number 5 gets really annoyed, he or she may slip back to a 4 or a 3. The chances of her going all the way down to a 2 or a 1 are very slim. Over a long period of time where she's feeling very unhappy at work, that might be the case, but in the short term I think to slip from a 5 to a 3 will be unlucky. Getting any further than that I don't think is really possible. Your number 4s, they might go up to a 5 if you can motivate them in the right way, capitalise on their enthusiasm, really make them feel part of a decision-making process. Perhaps we can turn them into our absolute champions in the business as well, and their bandwidth is 2 as well, so they might slip down to a number 3. They might turn up to work and not really participate in any great way if they get cheesed off. Our number 3s could go either way. They might go up to a 4, or their bandwidth is 2, so they might go down to a 2. So they might start participating, taking part in the things that you're trying to do, helping you with your vision for your business, or they might slip back in the other direction and start to be that kind of passive aggressive, start missing deadlines, not participating, and starting to grumble in the background as well. Also, a dangerous place for them to remain is staying on a number 3. Your number 3s aren't the people that you want in the business, but I'm giving you permission to keep a number 3 in the short term. Okay, so if you've got somebody who's just turning up for work, just doing the job, not particularly enthusiastic, but not causing you any trouble, that's fine until you have a replacement. You're allowed to keep that person, I'm giving you permission now, you're allowed to keep that person in the business in the short term under certain circumstances. So let me explain. I'll give you an example. I'm coaching a guy at the moment who is buying, any day now in fact, is buying a small business. He's taking over an existing team. It will be fine to have a few number 3s in there in the short term. I don't expect him to go in, sack a whole load of staff that he doesn't feel are particularly motivated and try and find replacements. It's all right for you to have them just to tide you over. Or if you realise that you've got some number threes, but actually it's coming up to the busiest time of year, or a time of year when recruitment is traditionally tricky in your industry, it's okay to coast along, but have a plan to either get them up to a number 4 or to get them out of the business fairly soon. Your number 2s, well, these could, with a bit of work, go up to a number 3, which would be fantastic, but they could also slip down to a number 1 where they're doing real damage to your business. So the number 2s, I honestly don't think are worth an awful lot of effort. If you can get them up to a number 3 in the short term and then kind of coast along for a while and maybe see whether they turn into a 3 in the longer term, fine. If you think they're being influenced by somebody else that you're going to get rid of, that's fine too. We can see how that plays out in the short term. But don't commit lots and lots of time and energy into trying to turn a number 2 into a really positive member of the team. They won't make it to a 4, and they certainly won't make it to a 5. So it's okay to coast along for a little while if you can see some improvement, but really these are the people that we need to be getting rid of. They're the people that are missing deadlines. They're the people that are not participating. They're the people with their arms folded at all of your team meetings, giving you that kind of negative body language. Maybe they're starting to miss some really important targets in the business. Maybe they're starting to act in an unprofessional way as well. So in the longer term, they've got to go. In the short term, if you think you can turn them into an improved number 3, then that's fine too. And then we have your number 1s. These are the people who are very vocal about the fact they don't like working for you. They are the people that will tear down any kind of staff incentive or target that you're running. They're the people that never turn up for anything for after work drinks. They're not interested in improving that workplace. Now, I've said everyone's got a bandwidth of 2. You might be able to get a number 1 up to a number 3, which would mean that they're just turning up for work and not really making those negative impacts. But the effort you're going to have to put in to turn that very aggressive, very disruptive person in your team and turn them into someone who's just coasting along, it's just not worth it. These people are going to have to go. So apart from terminating their employment, how else can we improve people's attitude at work? Well, I think with your number 2s, part of it might be just explaining. If you just explain to them the impact that they're having on the rest of the team, the impact that their lackluster performance is having on the business as a whole, the things that they're missing out on because they're not fully participating as an employee, well, maybe that will be enough to turn around. Perhaps they just don't realise that sitting with your arms folded in a team meeting has an impact at all. So perhaps just explaining to them. That said, if you're explaining to a number 1, all you're going to be doing is adding fuel to the fire. They'll realise that they're actually getting to you, and what you don't want to do is engage on that very emotional level with these people. So I would also start then working to rule a little bit with your number 1s and your number 2s and maybe your number 3s as well. Start explaining to them exactly what is expected of them. Go back to your job description, go back to your role descriptions, go back to your standards of behaviour and performance that are acceptable in your business, and start working to rule. If they're not doing those things, we need to start documenting it. Firstly, starting to keep notes on our verbal meetings. Secondly, maybe even going as far as written warnings, and start heading down that disciplinary or capability process if they're not turning in the work that you expect. I hope that's been useful to you and not too gloomy. There is hope. There are 4s and 5s out there, and we can turn those 3s around occasionally as well. If it's been useful, don't forget to subscribe. I do a broadcast like this every single week, and I would hate you to miss out on the content that I'm sharing. For more personalised help, reach out to me, phil@buildyoursalon.com. I would love to help you in your business. I coach up to 20 small businesses in any year. If you've already subscribed, I will speak to you again next week. Take care.